everybody is actually looking forward to owning a house.
I was very, very happy when I got the allocation for the house.
Mortgage can actually work in Nigeria.
Good evening and thanks for making a date with us. The program is Everyone Deserves a Home, a program showcasing the activities of the foremost mortgage bank in Nigeria and its efforts towards providing affordable houses and mortgages for Nigerians within the low and medium income bracket. My name is Hadiza Bayero Aliu, standing in for your regular anchor. The informal sector in Nigeria constitutes a large number of the nation's workforce, totaling about 70%. This then underscores why the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria includes the informal sector in the National Housing Fund scheme. It is to enable them benefit from the scheme. In this edition of the program, we will take a look at the efforts of the bank in ensuring more informal sector inclusion, as well as the efforts being made to meet the housing needs of its customers in this sector. Other regular segments of news, Dream Come True, and our feedback segment will complete this episode of the program. Join me after this timeout for the full package.
To improve transparency and accountability in managing the NHF funds, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has introduced *219#. *219# is a new way to know the status of your NHF contribution from anywhere. To use this service, dial *219#. Select 1 to update your contact detail. Press 2 to check your contribution status in any month up to the last 5 years. You can also use our mortgage calculator and bulletin board by selecting options 5 and 6 respectively. You can access other services by using direct shortcodes like *219*3# to retrieve your NHF number, *219*4*1# to check your last 5 transactions, and *219*4*2# to check your statement of account. No internet connection required, and it is available on all networks. *219#. Simpler, smarter, faster. Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Everyone deserves a home.
Welcome back. As always, the program will begin with news highlights from the diary of the FMBN. In our lineup, FMBN boss calls for increased public-private partnership in the housing sector. Stay tuned for these and other stories.
The Mortgage Bankers Association of Nigeria has called on stakeholders in the housing sector to collaborate and work together towards achieving the goal of affordable home delivery in the country. This was the submission of the association at its 21st annual conference, which took place in Abuja. The keynote address at the conference was delivered by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, who was represented by the Director of Public Building and Housing Development, Mr. Kpemi Temitokwe. He called on experts in the industry to support the federal government in its quest for housing delivery. He also urged the association to actualize the resolutions of the conference.
With platforms like this, we can engage in cross-pollination of industry experiences, ideas, and knowledge, and advocate for solutions that will help to fix housing industry challenges and shaping public policy on sustainable housing delivery in our dear country.
Speaking in a goodwill message, the Managing Director of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Shehu Usman Usidi, said that, in line with the theme of the conference, the FMBN leverages on private-public partnerships to expand housing delivery. He said more ideas are needed to further deepen PPPs in order to impact on the sector.
Housing is a critical component of sustainable development, directly impacting the well-being, productivity, and economic prosperity of the people. Achieving these goals, therefore, requires innovative approaches and concerted efforts from all of us. In this direction, the PPP model stands out as a powerful mechanism for mobilizing resources, leveraging expertise, and fostering collaboration to deliver the impactful results we desire within the sector.
Speaking earlier, The president of the Mortgage Bankers Association, Mr. Ability Mark Yoroki, said making homes accessible for Nigerians is the collective effort of stakeholders in line with sustainable development goals.
The theme of this conference is strengthening public-private partnership in mortgage banking to achieve sustainable development goals. This is timely. It underscores our shared responsibilities in supporting the Sustainable Development Goal, which focus on creating sustainable cities and communities. Goal 1, aim at eradicating poverty. Affordable housing is central to these goals.
Also speaking, Chairman, Senate Committee on Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, who was represented by the clerk of the committee, Mr. Ralph Adeoye, emphasized the need for collaboration between the public and private stakeholders in the sector. He also reaffirmed the commitment of the National Assembly in supporting the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, amongst other institutions, in expanding access to affordable housing and mortgages.
The National Assembly, through its housing committees in both chambers, as I mentioned earlier, has been proactive in advancing legislative initiatives to support the sector. A key area of focus for the committee is the urgent need for the recapitalization of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
Other speakers lauded the Mortgage Bankers Association of Nigeria for playing a critical role in the Nigerian housing landscape.
The desired objective. Thank you very much.
In a related development, the Managing Director, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Shehu Usman Osidi, has said that the bank is making efforts towards the use of technology in its processes for better operational efficiency. He made this known in a paper titled Leveraging Technology in Customer Service Delivery, Enhancing Value and Efficiency in Mortgage Banking through the FMBN, which he presented on the second day of the 21st Annual Conference of the Mortgage Bankers Association of Nigeria, which took place in Abuja. The Managing Director in his presentation noted that although the mortgage industry in Nigeria has a long way to go in the advancement of technology in its processes, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is making significant progress in the adoption of technology in its processes.
I want to assure you that under the current management of the bank, the status quo is set to change in the nearest future towards FMBN becoming the champion of a more efficient, accessible, and customer-centric information technology-driven mortgage banking landscape in our nation.
Osidi also highlighted the role of technology in the growth of mortgage markets around the world. He then added that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is committed to the adoption of available technologies to drive mortgage growth while also enhancing customer service delivery in Nigeria.
At FMBN, we are keenly aware that adoption and constant improvements in technology is the only route to improved service delivery, which is a cornerstone for sustainable development. Therefore, our focus in leveraging on technology is hinged on ensuring that our services are delivered with professionalism, innovation, and a deep understanding of our customers' needs. This is at the core of the adoption and implementation of core banking application in the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
For the right of occupancy, we accept it.
Following the MD's presentation, a panel discussion on the paper ensued, with some of the bank's group heads as participants.
Glad to know that you're still there. Providing affordable houses for all cadres of Nigerians is at the root of FMBN activities. Over the last couple of years, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has made significant efforts in ensuring that it lives up to the expectations of Nigerians, particularly those who have keyed into the National Housing Fund scheme. Over time, it opened participation in the scheme to the informal sector, widening its reach and by extension, its impact. In our next segment, we'll look at some of the efforts the FMBN is deploying to ensure that the informal sector is not only captured, but also benefits from the National Housing Fund scheme. Keep watching.
The informal sector plays a vital role in the economic development of Nigeria. It provides employment opportunities, generates income, and fosters entrepreneurship, making it undeniably influential in the Nigerian economy. Making up the most part of the Nigerian workforce, the informal sector is key in the development of any sector if properly harnessed. This is one of the focal points of the 5-year strategic plan of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to ensure the full inclusion of the informal into the National Housing Fund scheme.
As part of our strategy is also looking seriously at the informal sector. There has been a huge gap of people, a huge group of people that need housing, and then they offer a lot of opportunities, economic benefits for the country as well, when they are financially included in the scheme of things.
In our 5-year strategic plan, the bank has given a lot of, concern and concentration to the informal sector, drive to bring them into the National Housing Fund.
The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria's mandate requires that every Nigerian who is 18 years and above and has an income registers and contributes to the National Housing Fund scheme, making them eligible to benefit from the scheme, and the informal sector is not left out of this.
We have an understanding that the National Housing Fund has a national mandate, has a universal mandate. It says that every Nigerian who is working and earning the national minimum wage has an opportunity to contribute to the National Housing Fund and then gain benefits of it. So for us, the informal sector presents the next frontier for us, presents the next stage of where we need to move to in terms of not just growing our business, but financially including the informal sector into the scheme of things. And for us, housing is quite instrumental. So informal sector may not, a member of the informal sector may not necessarily feel obliged to walk into any commercial bank and open a bank account. But that same member of the informal sector has a housing need. Either he wants to build a house or he's renting a house presently. And we see that as a direct connect with the National Housing Fund, which seeks to provide affordable housing finance. So using the instrumentality of the National Housing Fund, which has a broad mandate, we see that connects, and that's why our focus is on the informal sector.
The first part of the strategy is to sensitize the informal sector so that they can be aware of the existence of the National Housing Fund scheme. The branch offices of the FMBN have been saddled with the responsibility of reaching out to potential contributors of the FMBN, while the head office makes sure the sensitization exercises are possible.
We reach out to customers. We have a lot of customers, even the potential ones that wants to come in. We reach out to them. It's like you have a business. You must keep, selling the business for people to know that this is what you are doing. Even those who are in it already wants to know the new things that are happening there. So you keep sensitizing them to make sure that everybody knows that you are still in business.
After such sensitizations, the bank does not leave its new customers hanging, as follow-up exercises are done to ensure that these new customers are fully registered into the scheme.
our branches, they do follow up even after a mega sensitization has been done for any group. You understand? They do follow up because they have to do registration of the organization or cooperative, or the self-employed person. Then they will have to, you know, collect the person's, issue the person what we call the National Housing Fund number. They have to now follow up with the remittances. So engagement with our clients is a continuous thing. We don't stop at any one point.
The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has worked in collaboration with the University of Lagos Center for Housing and Sustainable Development on a research on how to include the informal sector in the National Housing Fund scheme, making sure to meet their housing needs.
Part of the findings of that, of their own research, was that the informal sector is viable, the informal sector is ready, and then fortunately enough, members of the informal sector have a good perception, a positive perception about the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria being a government institution, and they are willing and ready to partner with the bank in regards to that.
To ensure the full inclusion of the informal sector into the National Housing Fund scheme, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has developed more products and services for the informal sector to benefit from. Some of these products are the rental assistance loan and the home improvement loan.
Recently, products have been created for them because initially they will say we cannot meet the products that you people are giving to the formal sector. Create products that are peculiar to those of us in the informal sector. And we have made the home improvement loan for the informal sector. We have even brought up the rental assistance for the informal sector.
Those in the informal sector are also beneficiaries of the National Housing Fund schemes, like the Cooperative Housing Development Loan. Many informal sector cooperative societies have benefited from this window to build houses for their members. The bank is also making efforts for even more cooperative societies to register and take up mortgage loans.
We are engaging a lot of cooperatives, informal sector cooperatives. We have been speaking to them. Just of recent, we did with ABBA. They call them the Apex Cooperative Agent or Corporation. They have brought in all other cooperatives together for them to come into the National Housing Fund because we have products for them. And as it is, if an informal person also meets the affordability to buy a house of 50 million because we raise this thing to, of course they'll be giving. You understand? So it's not as if we are not ready for them. We are very ready for the informal sector. All we need is they should come into the National Housing Fund.
The program is Everyone Deserves a Home. The Dream Come True segment is next. We'll listen to the story of yet another beneficiary of the National Housing Fund scheme, how the journey began and how it feels being a homeowner. Stay with us.
I can assure all Nigerians that if you apply, once it is available, you will get.
Definitely the scheme is real.
It's a big testimony to stop paying rent.
Excellent. Seriously excellent.
It works and is real.
Umar Mohammed Tanku, a civil servant, got to know about the National Housing Fund scheme through some of his friends who had benefited from the scheme. For Umar, it was something worth giving a try, and so he made inquiries.
I contacted some of my friends that are already beneficiaries of this kind of scheme, that's National Housing Fund, and I got some idea from them in which that has given me an inspiration of how am I going to start processing for my own. They told me that I have to go through any primary mortgage institutions in which they will show me the estate available that I can be able to, based on my own test and affordability, choose which one maybe I would like to live in.
Because of the proximity to his place of work, Umar decided to pick a place not far from his office.
I went to Federal Housing Authority Homes Mortgage. I presented myself as a civil servant, and I asked them that I'm interested in National Housing Mortgage. Yes. They asked me where is my preferred location. I told them that my office is in Lube, so I would like to maybe live in a kind of estate that have proximity to my place of work. They say fine, in which they have presented some document in which I look in, and I happen to choose this estate.
The happy father of one, who has lived in his house for about 2 years now, is particularly happy with the quality of work done on his house.
Been visiting the house, I look at the houses available by going into different flats, and I noticed that yes, the house is being built with standard building materials, in which, based on my own assessment, they are strong enough for me to start processing, and if possible I have gotten it, I can live here. I can live in here with my family.
His call is particularly to Nigerians who are already aware of the scheme to take advantage and not doubt it.
If at all they know how this system operates, they can be very interested in occupying this kind of opportunity, because it helps a lot. In fact, the kind of help that this kind of scheme is offering is beyond measure.
Our question for the week is, what measures are in place to guarantee the safety of my contributions?
Federal Mortgage Bank, as a government-sponsored enterprise, as an agency of government, is regulated by different bodies. For instance, we are regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Office of the Accountant General also oversees the way we do operate our finances. The Office of the Auditor General also audits us. Besides the oversight function of the National Assembly, both the two chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate, they all have an oversight function, all tailored towards ensuring that the right thing is done, that the people's money in the bank is appropriately used in the right direction. We do that also by ensuring that we give our contributors an up-to-date financial statement.
This is where we draw the curtains on tonight's episode. It is the desire of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to have many more of its contributors become beneficiaries of the scheme. Why don't you visit any of our offices near you to inquire how you can start your home ownership journey, or kindly visit our website for more details about us. Make a date with us again next week, same time, same station, for another exciting package. See you then.